Have you ever wondered why your prayers sometimes feel blocked, why tension seems to cling to your home, or why despite your devotion, there's still an invisible heaviness in the air? What if I told you the reason isn't just about how much you pray, but about where and how you honor the Blessed Virgin Mary in your house? What if certain objects sitting right next to her image are silently pushing away the blessings you've been praying for? Dear brothers and sisters, I want to share something that could change the spiritual atmosphere of your home forever. This is not just another devotional talk, it's a warning, an urgent call to protect your family and your space from hidden dangers that too many Catholics ignore. Padre Pio himself, the great mystic who bore the wounds of Christ, who fought demons at night, who read souls and spoke to the Virgin Mary, he gave this teaching, and it carries a weight you cannot dismiss. He revealed that 3 specific objects should never be placed next to the image of Our Lady. These items are not only offensive to her, but they create open doors for darkness to enter your home, bringing unrest, conflict, and even illness. And the frightening part is, most people have no idea they are doing it. Think about it. Have you prayed for protection over your children, yet still felt like something was wrong? Have you kept a statue of Mary in your house but still faced strange dreams, unexplainable arguments, or illnesses that no doctor could explain? Do you feel that invisible weight that no amount of sleep or rest seems to take away? You're not imagining it. These are real spiritual effects. Padre Pio warned that if you mix what belongs to heaven with what belongs to darkness, Mary will quietly step back. Not because she doesn't love you, but because she cannot share her presence with what dishonors her Son. And when her protective presence withdraws, the enemy slips in. There's a powerful story of a man who came to Padre Pio one night, desperate. His family was falling apart, financial problems, illnesses, terrifying noises at night. Padre Pio asked him one simple question: what did you place next to the Virgin? The man thought it was nothing. Just an artistic gift, a decorative object from a friend. But when he described it, Padre Pio's face grew serious. You've offended her, he said. Remove it immediately. Cleanse your house. Beg her forgiveness. That very night, the man obeyed. He took the object away, prayed, and blessed his home. Within days, the oppression lifted. His children slept peacefully again. The arguments stopped. Peace returned. This is not superstition. This is not paranoia. This is spiritual reality. Padre Pio lived in constant battle with the devil. He knew what he was talking about. And today, I want to reveal to you these 3 dangerous categories of objects, so that you can examine your own home and see if they are silently blocking your blessings. The first is idols or symbols from other religions. Yes, even if they are just souvenirs, decorations, or gifts. Buddha statues, Hindu figurines, tribal masks, totems, pagan goddesses, Eastern spiritual symbols, they do not belong next to Mary. She is the Queen of Heaven. She cannot stand beside false gods. It doesn't matter if you bought it on vacation, or if it was a wedding present, or if you simply thought it looked nice. What matters is the spiritual presence attached to it. There was once a woman who came to Padre Pio with deep depression and terrifying dreams. She had rosaries everywhere, she prayed every day, but nothing helped. When she asked Padre Pio for help, he told her, "Go home and remove the elephant from your shelf." She was confused, but when she got home, she realized she had a decorative statue of Ganesh, the Hindu god of wisdom, right beside her image of Mary. She removed it, and almost immediately, the darkness lifted. The second category is objects used for divination or so-called energy work. Crystals, pendulums, tarot cards, dream catchers, incense used for mystical purposes, all of these may look harmless, even fashionable, but they are spiritual traps. Padre Pio called them whispers of witchcraft. They promise healing and protection, but in reality, they replace faith with superstition. A young woman once came to Padre Pio in confession. She had placed Mary's statue on her dresser, right beside quartz crystals and divination cards. She thought she could combine both worlds, her Catholic faith and New Age energy practices. Padre Pio looked at her and said, "You ask Our Lady to intercede, but you place her next to practices that crucify her Son. You must choose, light or shadow." The woman obeyed. She destroyed the crystals and cards, and only then did peace return to her house. The third category is one many people overlook: symbols or images of unholy lifestyles. Explicit artwork, immodest photographs, books or movies that glorify sin, or even family portraits celebrating rebellion against the faith. You can and should pray for your loved ones, but you cannot glorify their rebellion by placing their images in your sacred space. Mary is merciful, she weeps for sinners, but she cannot bless an altar built upon pride and sin. Padre Pio told of a family who built a beautiful prayer corner. But next to their statue of Mary, they had placed a framed photo of a relative in provocative clothing, with a quote about rejecting religious guilt. They loved her, but they unknowingly gave that photo a place of honor beside the Queen of Purity. The result? Constant discord, recurring illness, and strange smells in the house. Padre Pio's counsel was clear: you must choose who you honor. Pray for your loved ones, but do not glorify their rebellion in Mary's space. Now, these are the three categories. And I must ask you, what's sitting next to your statue of the Virgin Mary right now? Have you unknowingly placed idols, energy tools, or unholy images near her? Do you feel your prayers are blocked, your sleep disturbed, your family weighed down by tension? The signs of this contamination are subtle, but they are real. A sudden heaviness in the air. Arguments over small things. Financial difficulties without clear reason. Recurring nightmares. Pets or children who avoid certain rooms. Slowly, the peace erodes until your home feels like a battlefield. But here's the good news: you can change this. You can cleanse your home, restore Mary's honor, and invite heaven's protection back into your life. Padre Pio gave a clear process for this. Examine your home. Remove the offensive objects completely, don't just move them to another room. Cleanse the space with holy water and prayer. Consecrate it anew to Mary. Surround her image with what uplifts the soul: rosaries, crucifixes, candles, scripture, flowers. And above all, remain vigilant about what enters your home. Because when Mary is honored properly, she protects powerfully. She shields your family under her mantle. She brings healing, restores peace, and guards you from unseen attacks. Where she is welcomed, heaven touches the earth. Let us go deeper, because this is not just about avoiding certain objects, it's about transforming your home into a place where grace flows freely, where Mary's presence becomes a shield against darkness, and where your family can rest in true peace. Too often, we think that saying a prayer here and there is enough. But Padre Pio reminded us again and again, the spiritual world is real, and every choice we make in the physical world opens a door, either to heaven or to hell. Think about your home right now. When people walk in, do they feel peace, or do they feel stress? Do they sense warmth, or do they feel a strange heaviness? A Catholic home should be a sanctuary, a refuge of light in a dark world. But if we mix holy things with unholy ones, that sanctuary is weakened, and the enemy will find a way to disturb our peace. The problem is, many of these dangerous objects don't look evil at all. In fact, some of them are trendy. They're marketed as symbols of positivity or healing energy. Maybe someone gave them to you as a gift. Maybe you bought them during your travels because they looked exotic. Or maybe you didn't think twice when decorating your prayer space. But behind the material object lies a spiritual reality. And that reality matters more than appearances. Let me tell you about a woman who wrote to me recently. For nearly 2 years, her family lived in constant conflict. Arguments broke out almost daily. Financial problems piled up. Her children were exhausted and irritable, no matter how much rest they got. She herself felt drained every morning, as if she hadn't slept at all. She was a devout Catholic, she prayed the rosary, went to Mass, and had a beautiful prayer corner with a statue of Mary. But something was terribly wrong. When she examined her prayer corner closely, she realized she had surrounded Mary with objects from all three dangerous categories. A Buddha statue she bought on vacation. Crystals she had purchased at a local shop for positive energy. Magazines with immodest images. Without realizing it, she had placed Mary in an atmosphere contaminated by false symbols. The moment she learned Padre Pio's teaching, she removed them. She blessed the space with holy water, consecrated it again to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and placed only sacred items there: a crucifix, a rosary, a Bible, fresh flowers. Within weeks, the atmosphere of her home changed. The arguments began to fade. Her children slept peacefully. Even their financial situation improved in ways they couldn't explain. She said, "It was as if a cloud lifted from our house." That is the power of honoring Mary properly. She does not just decorate your home. She reigns in it. She brings heaven's peace, protection, and blessings. But if you offend her presence, even unknowingly, she steps back, and darkness fills the void. Padre Pio used to say, "The devil doesn't need you to say no to God. He just wants you to say later." Think about that. Maybe you're listening to this right now, and you're realizing there are things in your home that need to go. But the temptation will be to delay. To say, "I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'll clean it out next week." That hesitation is exactly what the enemy wants. Because every day you wait is another day your home remains vulnerable. So what must you do? Padre Pio gave a clear path. First, walk through your home with open eyes. Look carefully at every shelf, every corner where you've placed sacred images. Ask yourself, where did this come from? What spirit does this represent? Be honest, even if it's uncomfortable. Second, remove the objects. Don't move them. Don't store them. Remove them completely. Burn them if necessary. Throw them away. End their presence in your home. Third, cleanse the space with holy water, praying, "Mary, I cleanse this space for you. Forgive my ignorance. Reign here as Queen." Then, consecrate your home again. Place Mary's image with dignity. Surround her with what uplifts the soul: candles, flowers, rosaries, scripture. Make her the heart of your home. And finally, stay vigilant. Be mindful of what you bring into your space. Not everything that looks harmless is spiritually safe. The transformation this brings is not symbolic, it is real. Families who have done this testify again and again. The air feels lighter, prayer becomes easier, sleep becomes restful, relationships heal, and peace settles in like never before. Padre Pio knew this truth because he lived it. He fought demons every night in his monastery. He saw how even devout Catholics could unknowingly open spiritual doors. He saw how ignorance can be just as dangerous as sin. That's why he gave this warning, not to instill fear, but to give hope. Because once you know, you can act. And when you act, you invite heaven into your home in a powerful way. Now I want you to imagine this. What if thousands of Catholic families around the world took this seriously? What if, one by one, we examined our homes, removed what offended Mary, and consecrated our spaces to her Immaculate Heart? What kind of protection, what kind of healing, what kind of grace would flow into our world? You see, this is not just about you. This is about your children, your spouse, your loved ones. When you honor Mary in your home, you build a spiritual fortress around your family. And that fortress doesn't just protect you, it inspires others. When your friends visit and feel peace they can't explain, when your children grow up surrounded by an atmosphere of grace, when your neighbors see joy in your family, they will ask why. And you can point them to Mary. Let's continue, because this message is far too important to leave unfinished. If you are still listening, it means your heart is open, and Mary herself is inviting you into a deeper protection, a deeper cleansing, and a deeper relationship with her Son. Now that you know the three categories of dangerous objects, it's time to look at the hidden signs that your home may already be affected. These signs can be subtle, so subtle that many families mistake them for ordinary stress. But once you recognize them, you'll see the truth. The first sign is disruption in your prayer life. You want to pray, you make time to pray, but the moment you sit down, distractions come. Fatigue hits. Your thoughts scatter. It feels like you're pushing against an invisible wall. Prayer becomes a battle, not because you lack faith, but because something in your space is blocking the flow of grace. Padre Pio explained that when sacred images are placed among offensive objects, the angels grow silent, and the demons grow louder. That resistance you feel is not random, it's spiritual interference. The second sign is atmospheric heaviness. You may notice certain rooms in your home always feel tense. Conversations turn into arguments. Little issues blow out of proportion. There's a weight in the air that you can't quite explain. This heaviness is one of the most common effects when Mary's presence is dishonored. She is the Queen of Peace, and when she withdraws, peace withdraws with her. The third sign is sleep disturbance. Nightmares, insomnia, waking up more exhausted than when you went to bed, especially when multiple family members experience it at the same time. Padre Pio said that during sleep, our natural defenses are lowered, making us more vulnerable to spiritual attacks. If you or your children are plagued with restless nights, pay close attention to what objects surround your prayer corner or bedroom. Another sign is unusual behavior from children and pets. Their sensitivity is often greater than ours. A child suddenly refuses to enter a certain room. A pet stares at an empty corner or becomes restless in specific areas of the house. These are not coincidences. They are signals of a spiritual presence. Finally, there is the gradual accumulation of problems. Financial strain without explanation. Constant tension between family members. Chronic exhaustion. A slow erosion of peace and joy. Darkness rarely crashes in dramatically, it seeps in gradually, until your home feels fundamentally altered. But here is the hope: just as darkness enters quietly, light can return powerfully the moment you make the choice to cleanse and consecrate your home. And the transformation is not only external, it's deeply personal. I remember reading the testimony of a father who had struggled for years with anger. No matter how hard he tried, small things set him off. His wife and children lived in constant fear of his temper. He prayed, he confessed, but the anger returned. When he learned Padre Pio's teaching, he examined his home. On the shelf next to Mary's statue, he found a tribal mask he had bought years earlier on a business trip. He thought it was just art. But after hearing the warning, he removed it and blessed his house. Within weeks, he noticed a change in himself. His anger lost its grip. His children began to approach him with joy again. The whole atmosphere shifted. That is the power of cleansing your home. It doesn't just change your space, it changes hearts. Because Mary does not simply stand as a statue on your shelf. She reigns as a mother in your family. She brings her Son with her, and where Christ is present, healing flows. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what if I've already offended her without knowing? What if my home has been contaminated for years? Let me assure you, Mary is not here to condemn you. She is here to rescue you. The moment you take action, the moment you remove what offends and invite her again, she returns with joy. She is like a mother who waits outside the door until her children finally unlock it. And the instant you open that door, she runs inside to embrace you. Padre Pio gave a 5-step process for this renewal. First, thorough examination. Walk through your entire home, especially where you have sacred images. Be intentional. Ask the Holy Spirit to open your eyes. Second, decisive removal. Don't hesitate, don't keep these objects in storage. Remove them completely. The enemy thrives on half measures. Third, spiritual cleansing. Sprinkle holy water, pray aloud, invite Mary to reign in the space. Fourth, consecration. Create a worthy space for her. Let it be the most beautiful corner of your home. And fifth, vigilance. From that day forward, be mindful. Before bringing anything new into your home, ask yourself, does this honor Christ and His Mother, or does it serve another spirit? Imagine what would happen if every Catholic family lived this way. Imagine entire neighborhoods transformed into sanctuaries. Imagine children growing up never knowing the oppression of spiritual darkness, because their parents built homes consecrated to Mary's Immaculate Heart. Imagine what kind of world we would live in if even a fraction of Catholics embraced this teaching. But it starts with you. It starts with one decision. It starts with one act of obedience. Don't underestimate it. Darkness flees the moment light enters. Mary's mantle covers those who honor her. And when she reigns in your home, Christ reigns too. Now, I want to give you a 3-day challenge, a mission that Padre Pio himself would smile upon. Day 1, cleanse. Walk through your home and remove anything that dishonors Mary. Do not delay. Day 2, consecrate. Prepare a place of honor for her image. Surround her with blessed objects. Offer prayers of dedication. Day 3, share. Tell at least 3 people you love about this teaching. Encourage them to cleanse their homes too. Because when grace multiplies from house to house, the world itself begins to change. Padre Pio warned us not because he wanted us to live in fear, but because he wanted us to live in freedom. He knew that where Mary is honored, heaven touches the earth. She brings spiritual protection, divine healing, and heavenly peace. Families who take this seriously experience miracles, not always dramatic, but always real. Broken relationships heal. Fear dissolves. Sickness eases. Peace settles in. And so, I ask you again, what sits next to your image of Mary right now? What energy surrounds your sacred space? Tonight, before you go to bed, take a moment. Look. Ask. Decide. Because the choice you make could change everything.